Hello, welcome to the GenXplainers podcast. Today, in honor of the recent theatrical re-release theatrically, the theatrical re-release of Jaws on its 50th anniversary. So we're going to talk a little bit about our experience with Jaws and kind of what it meant to us and what it meant to the world. So let me introduce the panel. There's Mike. There's Al. Say hello, guys.
Hello.
Hello.
So I'll just start out with kind of how we start out with our other podcasts is what was the first time you you couldn't avoid it. I'll put it right there right now. But Jaws as a movie was a phenomenon. It was huge. 75, summer of 75. It was a cultural phenomenon. This is before Star Wars, which was also a cultural phenomenon. But this one was totally huge. And I do remember at the time as a kid, all the Jaws hype. And I don't think I saw it in the theater, although knowing my dad, he might have brought me. Parents in those days, my mom brought me to see Annie Hall in the theater, whatever. Anyway, but I definitely saw it within a year or two after that, somehow, and eventually on VHS, blah, 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 all that stuff.
There is a creature alive today who has survived millions of years of evolution. Without change, without passion, and without logic. It lives to kill. A mindless, eating machine. It will attack and devour anything. It is as if God created the devil and gave him jaws.
How about you guys? Do you remember how big it was? I probably do.
I do. I remember wanting to see it, and the first time I saw it was on the big screen, but not on the big screen in the movie theater. It was a big screen at Castro Middle School in the school cafeteria.
Yeah.
It was whoever participated and got a certain level of the magazine drive. And so it was a 16 millimeter print edited.
Of course.
Edited. So that's the first time I saw it. And of course I saw it many times later on, but that was the only time I ever saw it on a screen of that size. Other times I just saw it on TV, whatever. So I'm looking forward to the re-release. I probably have seen this the most of all those films. I got to imagine, because it's been on TV so many times. I own the DVD. I own the VHS long time ago. So there's a lot of things I owned. I gave him a lot of my money.
Haven't we all?
So for me, I have a long, long history with this particular movie.
Okay. How about you, Al?
So I did not see it in the theaters when it came out. I was only 7, and either through wisdom or neglect, my parents did not bring me to it. And I think I saw it for the first time on television, of course. It would not have been the same experience. It would have had commercials, and there would be certain scenes that would be different. And I remember it as a phenomenon. I know we're not talking about the cultural impact, but the cultural impact was immediate. And so you couldn't really get away from, skits on late night. I saw skits on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson that would feature elements of the movie or Shark or the part of the soundtrack, the very famous
Land Shark.
Land Shark.
Yes?
Mrs. Arlsberg?
Who?
Mrs. Baldwin?
Who is it?
Flowers?
Flowers for whom?
Plumber, ma'am.
I don't need a plumber. You're that clever shark, aren't you?
Candy Graham.
Candygram my foot. You get out of here before I call the police. You're the shark and you know it.
Wait, I'm only a dolphin, ma'am.
A dolphin? Well, okay.
Land Shark, all of that stuff. So it was everywhere. You couldn't not be aware of it, even as a little child.
Yeah.
And I saw it later, probably the first time I saw it all the way through unedited was on VHS. I have never seen it in the theaters.
This movie was PG. There was no PG-13 at the time. It most assuredly would have been PG-13, if not R, to be honest, for the violence. So, yeah, that's, again, 70s, PG. Yeah, you bring your kids to this.
From the best-selling novel, Jaws, rated PG, may be too intense for younger children.
Oh, yeah. I can't tell you how many, not just the ratings, but the parenting. I know people who saw The Exorcist when they were 5.
That's crazy.
And and it's affected them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. My, as far as effect, I mean, after this came out, there was a lot of that people want to cash in on the aquatic animal danger movies. And there was a movie called The Deep.
Oh, yeah.
Which I believe was a book too. But
it was a book too.
It was 2 years later or something. And I somehow did see that in the theater. Again, I think my mom brought me to see The Deep. And while I do remember as a kid having a nightmare that night about a moray eel, because there's a moray eel in that, which is the animal part of the danger in that movie. So, our little brains were just very much affected by some of this.
I didn't see Jaws in the theater, but I saw Orca in the theater.
Oh, that's right, Orca.
Just so you know, I just want to point out I saw Orca in the theater.
Everyone was on the bandwagon on that.
And this was a little later, but it really affected me negatively as well, as I remember seeing Free Willy. So
for different reasons.
And let me just mention the Jaws sequels were not very good. And one of my favorite memories, 3D. Are you going to talk about 3D?
Jaws 3 and 3D.
Dennis Quaid.
I remember in the theater with my brothers, I think some of my brothers, and they couldn't stop laughing because every chance they got, let's put the goggles here. It was so obvious.
Get out of the way, Kate! Wow!
Then there was Jaws 4, The Revenge or something like that.
Yeah, it was like the shark's kid or something.
And so the shark was out for revenge.
Right, and it had an adult actor playing the Brody's kids. They really just cash in, baby, cash in.
Yeah.
Now, I will say I've seen both The Meg and The Meg 2.
No, I haven't seen the Meg movies. I saw Deep Blue Sea, so they're still making these shark movies,
Yeah.
We're gonna throw bombs into the tornadoes.
It's too dangerous.
Too many of them. We're gonna need a bigger chopper.
Claudia, move!
I have one quick story I want to tell about personal experience. My dad, now I don't know if he brought me or he went separately, but he went to see the movie and he fell asleep in the first half. So they never even got on the boat yet. He fell asleep and then he woke up and it was right at the end. He's like, whoa, what's going on? They're killing the shark already? So he missed the whole middle of it. And then the next day, this is true, he went on a fishing trip on a boat on the ocean and a shark circled his boat. Now, luckily he didn't see much of the movie, so it didn't freak him out too much. But I thought that was kind of funny.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Anyway, that's
my
tidbit. And I was afraid to go in the ocean right after seeing it for sure. But I'm always a little afraid to go in the ocean.
Someone that I used to know intimately saw it when she was, I think when it came out, and would not take a shower.
Wow.
Wouldn't even just water freaked her out.
She saw Psycho, actually. That was
No, it wasn't that guy. It was Jaws.
So if we move, let's move on to, Alan had mentioned some of the cultural effects it had on it. Certainly, a lot of people didn't want to go to the beach or go in the water anymore. It just was psychologically scarring. But even sort of in a larger way, I mean, it was a cultural phenomenon, a lot of marketing, a lot of, get your Jaws shirt or whatever, all this stuff, a lot of that kind of stuff.
About a cashing in,
right?
Jaws is the game where you try to fish out what's in the jaws of the great white shark.
I'm going for the camera. Made it.
But be careful, because if you remove the wrong piece, the jaws will get you. You're out. Jaws, it's you against the great white shark and each other from Ideal.
But it also changed the film industry in a couple ways. I think the biggest way was that it changed the mindset of some of these film companies about like, wow, look how much this big phenomenon made. Why don't we model how we make films about a big summer tentpole movie?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, because the 70s, you know, along with these big blockbusters, like, I mean, Godfather wasn't I guess it was a blockbuster because it was such a good movie, but this one and Star Wars, these huge phenomenon movies, these event movies, there was a lot of great movies going on in the 70s as well that didn't have all this behind it, like this marketing and a push, but they're still great movies, right? But I think it really changed the mindset of the studio. We can make a lot of money in a couple of weekends if we get everyone in the country to want to go see this thing, you know? And it's still that way. I mean, look at the Marvel franchises and all these Batman, and these things are geared for huge opening weekends.
You don't see the lines like you used to. Back then, there would be lines around the block, though.
Right.
And
well,
you don't really see that.
They're on like freaking 6 screens in a multiplex.
Well, that's true. That is true, yeah.
Which I'm like, well, it's too bad this awesome small film can't get another week of you know, in the theater, because we better see Guardians of the Galaxy 3 on 8 screens.
Well, and you also don't have theaters the size that we had too, like Century 22 and 21. Those were like 1,000-seat theaters.
Yes, they were more like huge. There wasn't as many multiplexes. I mean, it was like something twin, or maybe there was 4 or something, you know. The ones near us, the Centuries, there was 4. There was a group of 3 and then 1, and then there was one across town. But those were huge theaters.
Yeah.
You know. Anyway,
anywhere from 500 to 1,000 seats in each one. So it's like, yeah, you would be able to pack in tons and tons of people, and the lines would still be around the block.
Yeah. So I think it really changed the film industry and the summer blockbuster model, of course. Yeah. And it also launched the career of Steven Spielberg. I mean, didn't launch it, but suddenly everyone knew who Steven Spielberg was. And they started. Yeah. And I was making the argument that, well, this was kind of the start of selling the filmmaker or the director of a film as marketing as well, which you didn't see quite as much of that before, of actual director being part of the package or being part of the brand of the movie. Now, Mike, you mentioned Alfred Hitchcock, though, is that's the exception before this.
Yeah. And Hitchcock, of course, he made himself also part of the films and the celebrity part of it too. So he would put himself in the movies. People would like cheer when he'd come on screen, things like that. And so, and he also had TV shows, Alfred Hitchcock Presents, and there's a lot of stuff that went along with it. So which made him more of that celebrity. He was known for a certain thing. Right. And you were mentioning, not in the podcast, but separately when we were having a conversation about how in the documentary we watched recently with Jaws, how Spielberg modeled a lot of what he was doing with Jaws after Hitchcock's work.
Yeah.
And
the suspense, the building of suspense.
You don't see the shark except for little bits and pieces along the way. And once you do, then it's more shocking because of that reason.
It's a great moment. Like Scheider's character, Brody, is like shocked as well, just with the audience. And it's just, Spielberg is great at making the audience feel exactly how he wants them to feel.
Well, he's also really good at making a scary moment a humorous moment too.
Yes. And like, there's a lot going for this setup plot wise to make you nervous.
Yeah.
First of all, something under the water you don't know is there. That's scary. But then like on a boat that's slowly sinking, it's like, oh, I mean, it's a perfect setup for tension.
Yeah, and I like how each of the three characters represents something different. It's really interesting to see the dynamics between the characters who are not opposites but different versions of how do you put it?
Well, they have different perspectives on
Yeah.
this whole situation.
Like Quint has like this background that you find out later on why he is the way he is, and and we talked about this. It's one of the most effective scenes in the entire movie.
I think it's one of the best scenes in movie history.
Yeah, when they're just all sitting around the table comparing wounds and everything else.
You know the thing about a shark? He's got lifeless eyes, black eyes, like a doll's eyes. When he comes at you, he doesn't seem to be living until he bites you. And those black eyes roll over white, and then you hear that terrible high-pitched screaming. The ocean turns red, and in spite of all the pounding and the hollering, they all come in and they rip you to pieces.
And his speech, which I did learn that from the documentary, his speech, the way he took it home and rewrote it for himself.
Right.
And what would work best. Because it was going to be, what he said, it was like 12 pages.
It was so much longer. And he was like, I can't sit here for 9 minutes.
You're going to bore the audience.
Yeah, you're going to bore the audience.
So he went home and he rewrote it himself, and they talk about this. I did learn that from the documentary, which I thought was a great story on how he took it and made that entirely about his character and made it more effective, and it works so well.
Yeah.
And just the fact that he was also, in addition to being an actor, a playwright, so he could recognize the problem with that and then also create a solution to it.
Right. Yeah. The whole thing about not showing the shark and that not being able to see the shark until later in the movie was kind of necessitated by it malfunctioning all the time. Yep. And in the end, I think Spielberg realized, or just it happened, is that that's working much better. I mean, it just, the tension ratchets up more when you don't see so much in the beginning, And then at the end, when it does show up, boom, way more impact. So
when you delay showing the shark for so long, it just increases the tension or the anxiety of the audience member as to like, well, what is that down there? Like, I have it, because all you see is a fin. That's the most you see for a long time.
Yeah. Yep. Did we talk about the score yet? The score is amazing. That's a cultural.
No, we didn't. It was like,
that's a cultural.
John Williams, man.
Yeah. I mean, obviously John Williams has many famous scores, great scores, but that's just the simplest cello, low note cello going back and forth.
Yeah.
And it's still today, people use it as a signal, because it's in the culture. It's like
the Beastie Boys used it in their songs.
Yeah, they did. So that alone is a huge cultural influence.
I honestly think well, I don't know if it's a cello or whatever it is that, that dun, that speeds up as the shark gets closer. That and the little bit from the soundtrack for The Exorcist are like the two most culturally known soundtrack elements from the 1970s. Like those immediately convey, well, in the case of Jaws, like something's coming and it's not going to be good.
Right. And again, there's a Hitchcock link, the Psycho music. Ring. That's another thing that's still today. It's so well done in the movie that it denotes something now. It is something. So
yeah, I agree. There are certain other scores that are easily identifiable from the 70s, but those I mean, including John Williams' Close Encounters. So it's like, but these signified something else emotionally in the movies as opposed to those.
Yeah.
Like Star Wars is like that. That's from the 70s too, but it doesn't, the emotional aspect of it isn't there for that music. It's just an experiential score, as opposed to this, where it's like denoting like what you're supposed to be feeling.
Right. Yeah. In Star Wars, it's like, oh, here's the Empire's theme. Dun 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 dun. Okay.
Yeah.
But like in Jaws, it's like when you hear the music, you're in shark POV. It's so tied into the quote character of the shark. I mentioned that Indianapolis story from Robert Shaw's amazing.
Yeah.
And again, the 3 points of view, the very scientific point of view, the landlubber who doesn't like the water, which is supposed to be us, I think, and Quint with the backstory. It's just perfect kind of, that's what Peter Benchley's doing, but it's good writing. I mean, good.
I do think that also editing wise, just it's like the perfect editing for this movie. It's just like really brilliant editing.
Yeah, when you first see the shark is editorially great. I mean, it's just so economical.
Slower ahead.
You see over his shoulder, he's not looking. We see the shark, and then he looks, and then he cuts to the empty frame, and up he goes, freaked out with a cigarette dangling,
Yeah.
And then he's backing up, freaked out still, with Robert Shaw in the foreground.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Boom. I mean, that's like, hello. That's so great.
Yeah.
That's so perfect. Jaws, it's a classic, and it's 50 years later. People are still talking about it, and its effect is still there.
So do we vote now? Oh wait, no.
Yeah, is it the perfect movie? It might be. Someone, who are they interviewing? Tarantino? He said, they asked him, what's the perfect movie?
Oh, yeah, it was Tarantino. Yeah.
And he said, Jaws is probably a perfect movie.
I actually think Jaws is the greatest movie ever made. Not the greatest film ever made, but what's supposed to be a movie, everything that a movie is supposed to be. You're never going to get better than Jaws. Jaws is the pinnacle of that. It's the greatest movie ever made.
And it is true. I actually can't find... I thought about this. I can't find really anything in this movie that is what I would consider a fault.
Yeah.
I really can't. There's nothing about it that I would put like that should have been on the editing room floor. It's like everything in it seems to like really be there for a reason.
And just to get back to the impact beyond the film itself, I can't, I'm just rehashing what Matt said a little, but you cannot overstate the change that it had on the movie industry, in the sense that like we now are very comfortable with this idea that there are seasons for movie releases, and the summer is when you put out the big action stuff, and then the fall and the winter is when you put out the stuff you want to get an Oscar for, and then in the spring is when you put out the stuff that like, I don't know if anyone's going to see this. And that's, that middle part is only because of Jaws, and some of its followers up, especially Star Wars. But really, it was Jaws that put that part in, because before it was always just like, all your big movies go in the fall or winter.
All right. Anything else before we wrap it up?
No.
All right. Well, thanks, guys. And again, I'm excited about Jaws coming and back on the big screen where I can actually see it on a big screen. So I'm looking forward to that. So y'all, thanks for listening. And guys, say bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Like and subscribe.